Hey guys, let's get more news about Steelers, but first, don't forget to subscribe and leave your like. Rebuild or reload? Analyzing Steelers' best plan for returning to relevancy. While this team enacts a wide variety of changes year over year, it feels like nothing has actually changed for the past few seasons. This team says all of the obvious things and promises sweeping changes, but the end results always seem the same. With 2024 being another disappointing season, one has to ask what will actually change this year. The issue comes down to the offseason game plan. Every year a team can either try to reload or rebuild their roster. If you think you have a real shot at postseason success, reloading is always the right choice. If not, trimming the fat and getting in a better position for future years is logical. The Steelers always try to be the former. No matter how bad their roster looks or performed the year before, this team remains adamant that they can compete year after year. When they had Ben Roethlisberger, that made sense. He was a legitimate franchise quarterback and was still playing well enough at the end of his career. Instead of going after a top-tier replacement, the team felt forced to take Kenny Pickett in one of the worst quarterback classes of all time. They rightfully moved on from him last season and added some names that could be a potential long-term replacement. Neither of those options panned out though, but that won't stop the Steelers from once again trying to reload this offseason. Steelers are reloading a broken gun. This intense desire to be competitive every season is killing this team. It isn't allowing them to secure a legitimate franchise quarterback and instead is forcing them to stream mediocre options. It would be one thing if this issue had just popped up, but the same problems have plagued this franchise for multiple seasons. The last thing you want to do is overcorrect your team, but when you haven't won a playoff game in nearly 10 years, it's time to make some changes. This will lead to a few lean years, but if you have faith in your GM and coach as the Steelers claim that they do, you can navigate those waters. But we won't. This offseason will be just the same. We will bring back a quarterback who either lost the last 5 games of the season in a relatively embarrassing fashion or go with the option that was benched for him and couldn't retake the starting job despite that harsh stretch. That is making changes, that is staying with the known knowing that you can likely scrape together another winning season and potential playoff berth. This team is afraid to correct itself, and so now it is stuck in this mediocre ditch that they have dug themselves. While it is true that you can go from a middling team to a great one without rebuilding, it takes landing a great quarterback to do so. Pittsburgh has shown an unwillingness to make that aggressive move, so once again, we remain in limbo. So, in short, I fully expect the Steelers to reload once again this offseason, despite being in no position to actually make a Super Bowl run. It is high time you admit that the way you are doing business isn't working and make a plan for securing your next franchise quarterback. Until the team sees that though, we will be stuck with the same results every year. Football Footnotes. Gambling tips for Super Bowl LIX. This Friday's Football Footnotes is our annual Super Bowl Bets edition as we get ready for Sunday's showdown between the Kansas City Chiefs and the Philadelphia Eagles. Last year was a rough one. On the plus side, I went 3 for 4 with bets on the Chiefs and their players. Unfortunately, I went a hideous 0 for 5 with bets on the San Francisco 49ers and their players. One of those losses was me betting that 49ers QB Brock Purdy would exceed 12.5 rushing yards. He ended up with 12 on the nose. That's sports gambling in a nutshell. This year, we aim to bounce back by trying to hit big on some very specific prop bets. All lines I reference will be from betrivers.com. In my opinion, the basic bets are some of the hardest ones on the board this year. Regardless of how much I respect the Eagles, and I really do, Philly, as much as I hate to admit it, if you are telling me that all Andy Reid, Patrick Mahomes, and the Chiefs need to do to win a postseason game is cover a 1-point spread, I'm picking the Chiefs. I'm leaving the over-under alone. The more I think about it, the more I think 48.5 is pretty much a perfect number. It's a coin flip. Do what you like there. I'm placing my money elsewhere. Picking Mahomes to win the MVP feels pretty basic to me. But he is still at plus 105. So, why not? If it's that obvious, and it is still a plus money bet, take it. If you are a Philly bettor and you want to play the MVP column, I say go with Jalen Hurts. His payout, plus 350, is better than Saquon Barkley's, plus 250, in the first place. And, generally speaking, I think if Philadelphia is going to win this game, Hurts is going to have to be a difference maker. Barkley is going to have to be good. The Chiefs will focus their entire defensive attack on him. He'll still shine. But if the Eagles win, I'm assuming Hurts will be the bigger story on Monday morning if they pull off the mild upset. If Hurts is our Philly pick to win MVP, he is going to score at least one tush-push touchdown. I'll take Hurts to score a TD at minus 134. Let's try to hit a home run with the local kid on the KC side. Throw a small bet down on South Fayette's Justin Watson to score a TD for the Chiefs. The Steelers lost him in the red zone on Christmas Day for a touchdown. He caught a 2-point conversion in the AFC Championship game. He is a sneaky reliable target for Mahomes, and a score for him pays out at a healthy plus 1,600. Speaking of 2-point conversions, the Chiefs are usually creative in that category. The Eagles converted 3 this season. It's going to be a close game. It's plus 105 to make a bet that either team will try a 2-point conversion. It's plus 200 that either team will convert one. I'll put my money on both things happening. So much of Philadelphia's coverage is going to be thrown at Travis Kelce and Xavier Worthy that I expect some other Chiefs players to be open for Mahomes. I'll take Noah Gray over 11.5 receiving yards, at minus 108, and Juju Smith-Schuster at over 16.5, minus 113. Gray may also be a smart touchdown payout at plus 550 if you don't like the Watson pick. Do you think this is going to be a close game throughout? I do. BetRivers says that the largest lead at any point in the game will be 13.5 points. I'm going under that total at minus 110. Lastly, here's a bet that I love. Throw down a big chunk on the Chiefs at minus 1.5 in the second half. The payout is plus -116.my methodology is that if the Chiefs are losing in the second half, Mahomes is going to lead them back to at least cover in the last 30 minutes. And, as the Ringer pointed out, if there is any validity to the cries of the Chiefs get all the calls from the refs, that usually happens when Mahomes has the ball late in a close game. Also, if the Eagles are chasing after halftime, and Barkley is minimized in comeback efforts because Hurts has to throw, that'll help the Kansas City cause too. Well, unless my Hurts for MVP campaign kicks in, then all bets are off. Except that all bets are never off. Unless there is a natural disaster. Or coronavirus. Or an act of God. Come to think of it, that's a stupid saying. Don't listen to it. And based on my results last year, maybe you shouldn't listen to me either. And are you a fan? What do you think of Russell Wilson's situation? Leave your opinion in the comments.